All right. So yeah, I know tonight people were asking us, Kevin, hey, who can hop on tonight? I said, hey, we want affiliates to come on this call. We really want to teach our affiliates how to be coaches. This is a coaching the coach type of phone call. So if you've done 180, you've been successful at 180, you want to learn how to talk 180, this is the call for you. This is what we want to do. We want you to understand 180 10 times deeper than you did. One of the easiest and best ways to understand it that fast is by doing the protocol yourself. It's really hard to teach somebody how to scuba dive if you've never scuba dived. Am I right in saying that, Kevin? Because I know you're an amazing scuba instructor.
You're right. If you never know before, it's really hard to teach it.
But I read a book, Kevin. I think I can teach people how to do it. You go, no, I don't think so.
I taught a person this weekend that read a book, and about 20 feet underwater when they spit the reg out because they panicked and were freaking out. I'm right there to grab it, stick it back in, and say, you need to breathe underwater. We're not fish. Got it. Requires oxygen. So, book will get you part of the way. Practical knowledge gets you the rest of the way. You gotta, and then how to disseminate that for other people. But you're right. So that's a good analogy. But you've got to do more than just read a book.
How about that? Yeah, because that's called real life. If you blow out your breathing, oh, that's scary.
What do you do? Notice it's crazy. You get to the bottom, spit it out. You get on 180, they just throw the book out and start doing their own thing. It's like, why are you doing this? The book is your air. That's your oxygen. It's your what you have to do to have success. So anyways, interesting analogy. I like that. I've never used it before, but I kind of this weekend it just gives me that great parallel.
You are welcome there, Kevin. I'll make you look good. So Sherry, even this right here, Sherry says she's done 2 rounds, both of them completely different experiences. Yeah, once you've done the protocol 2, 3, 5, times, it's like, okay, I get the overall idea, because everybody's going to have their own experience. And you just never know if somebody's overweight, if somebody's trying to detox, somebody had a bad relationship. What are they flushing out of their body? They're all going to be different. So what we get to do as coaches is really listen. We can give them the guideline and listen. Perfect example in my clinic. I think y'all know I sold the majority of the clinic. We had some of my business partners in there this weekend. One of them, she's going through the protocol right now. Oh, we got John Taylor. Look at that. I don't know if he's just got out of the shower or what.
Like a Loompa right there. He's like small.
Wow, he looks orange too. What's going on? John Taylor, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the party. God, I love it when he just pops in and says, "Hey, everyone, what's going on?" John Taylor, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, Jonas. How you doing, bud?
Oh, doing great, man. Great to see you.
It's good to see you.
So I was just finishing up the story, and then we'll continue. But Kevin, she was there, went through Hell Week, and she's like, "Oh my God, like I think I'm gonna quit. Like I don't know if I could do this. My weight has stayed the same since yesterday, and I'm killing myself, and I don't want to do." And we just talked, calmed her down, told her what to do. I saw her 2 days later when we had our event this weekend. She goes, "Jonas, since I saw you, I've lost 3 more pounds." She goes, "I don't know what you said to me, but something worked." So that's who we are as coaches. We tell people, because everybody, when you're going through this protocol, think about to your first time. You hit the panic button going, uh-oh, I don't know if this is going to work. Uh-oh, I'm working this hard, nothing's happening. Uh-oh, my weight stayed the same. Uh-oh, my weight went up. We're always hitting the panic button. What we want is a coach to go, you don't have to panic. It's organic. It's going to happen. Don't panic. It's organic, huh? It's going to happen. Let your body flush out. John Taylor, I talked to another one of our leaders. "Jonas, I just don't know. I haven't lost 3 pounds or, any pounds in 3 days." And I said, you know what? There might be something that you need to think about. I had this talk with John Taylor. What are you hanging on to? Why did you want to do this protocol? Mm-hmm. What got you, feeling overweight in the first place? And that's all I said. Look, I had to have the same talk with John Taylor. JT, I get a call or I get a text the next day. "I think I found out what it was. Thank you." And that's it. I don't need to know somebody's personal life. If they want to open up and tell us, great. But a lot of times they just need to get over their own self, their own self-doubt, their own self-pity. Get over yourself, that old saying, because we are the ones who are holding ourselves back. So Kevin, I know Thursday we talked about everybody. We talked about the background of this. As we start saying, okay, for those of y'all that just loaded this past weekend, where are we at in week 1 now? And then, why is it Hell Week? What the heck's going on? And then we'll hear from John Taylor, because I don't think JT went through Hell Week at all. I think he's just one of those crazy humans that just nothing ever happens to him, right, John Taylor? So Kevin, talk to us about week one.
Well, in the beginning, we got a question over here, so we'll circle back. Jonas, make sure I get back to it. This person asked about being on a day 110, gaining 4 pounds after the weekend. So we want to make sure we hit these up. That will be towards the end of our call. When you guys are going through that Hell Week, after you load, the loading is a bedrock. That's the foundation. We know that. And then you got the detox that first week. That's when really it tests your why. What are you doing this for? This is where it separates the people who really want to make a change and the people who are just, I'm going to try something haphazardly or see if I can get it done. So during this call, if you guys have questions, you're on this call and either for yourself or for your customers that you guys are coaching through, put those in the Q&A. That first week is that week where people are going to not feel the best always when they're going through the changes, but that's when they're going to lose the most weight too. You're losing 10 pounds, 12 pounds in the first 5 days of reduced calories, 2 days of loading, 5 days of reduced calories. That's going to be your first 7 days on the program. And to beat down 8, 9, 10, 12 pounds in just 5 days of losing weight is pretty remarkable. So that's what you want to coach people through. You want to keep their mind fixated on the end of those first 5 days of getting through that detox week, right? Maybe we need to change the name. That Hell Week might scare people. Maybe call it Detox Week. That Hell Week was my name. That's what I called it. But I was coaching people one-on-one. So, Jonas, that's week one in a nutshell. It's really coaching people through. And for me as a coach on this call, I'm really interested why John Taylor's here. He's got his face on the screen. I want to hear from the big man down there, see what he has to say to us. And I'm glad he's here because this is a foreshadow. These Tuesday and Monday night calls, we're going to start seeing more and more Prime My Body leadership come on and do these calls. We're going to train. We're going to get people leading from the top down and doing and showing us the way through this 180 system and how to convert it into building a business. This is a training call for coaches, by the way. So this is how we build a business. We build it by learning how to coach people, whether it's calm, whether it's focus, whether it's core, whether it's 180. You got to know how to work people through what they want and transition them into the long term with the program. So JT, you're here, and then I'll bounce it back up to Jonas after you get done dazzling us with your wisdom. And I'm glad your size is the right perspective with your background now. Kind of tripped me out there at the beginning.
Yeah, that blur always gets me. It's well, I blurted out because my office wasn't cleaned up earlier, so I was doing a call, and so now that we got everything clean, I can go back to normal. Number one, it's this whole process is you're doing this to better yourself. So number one, you have to ask yourself, what are the real things that are non-negotiable? Like, what's non-negotiable in your life anymore? I know Jonas, he comes from a real strong NFL background. I come from a coaching background. And for some people, they go, man, it's kind of harsh, man. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you? And I'm like, hey, I agree with you, Jonas. You do that. What's a non-negotiable? If you want to keep it a little bit softer, what's a non-negotiable that you're not going to go with anymore? What are the things that you're not going to do anymore? It's non-negotiable. Are you going to take care of your weight? Are you going to take care of yourself? When you start 180, it's here. It's all between your ears, because at the end of the day, it's just eating. What's the fear around eating? Why do you struggle with eating? Why do I struggle with eating? What is it that triggers that cause us to go? What are my non-negotiables on triggers? What am I not going to let trigger me anymore? Do I stress eat? Do you stress eat? Do I work myself into, getting upset about something, and next thing you know, my trigger is that? I turn on the TV, the trigger goes off. I'm Republican, I'm Democrat, Republic, however you want to say that. There's a trigger. Boy, I start eating. You see something that's going on that you have no control of in the other part of the world, and all of a sudden you find yourself emotionally eating. You can't control what's going on in government. You start emotionally eating. You can't control your significant other. By the way, tried to do that for 20 some odd years. That's not going to happen. Zero, big fat zero, failed that test over and over and over. Not going to happen. So what do you really want to be in control of? What's non-negotiable anymore? And I think that's the biggest question for all of you on here is what's non-negotiable? Is your weight non-negotiable? Are you no longer going to be that person that says, you know what, I wear a 3X, I wear a 2X? Or are you a person that says, you know what, I used to be in a size 4, size 6, now I'm in a size 12, 14? What's non-negotiable? I went and had every one of my clothes, Kevin. I had every one of my clothes altered. So whenever stuff starts getting tight, it's like, here's a non-negotiable. I'm not going to the store and buying any more of this because this stuff that I buy is expensive. So you know what? Non-negotiable. What's your non-negotiable? And if you can type in there one thing that you're going to be non-negotiable about, what is it? What is it? Is it setting an example for your kids? Is it setting an example for your husband or your wife? What's the non-negotiable that you're not going to do anymore? You're not going to be lazy. You're going to work at this. You're going to, hey, I'm going to quit being a quitter. How about that? Non-negotiable. I'm not going to quit anymore. How about following instructions? Guys, that was my hardest thing for the first week. I'd call Jonas and go, Jonas, I'm eating green beans and a steak. And he'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Green beans isn't on there. And I was like, well, it's green. And he goes, if you can show me green bean on that page. Then I was like, hey, Jonas, I'm eating Brussels sprouts. Hey, JT, if you can show me Brussels sprouts. Hey, Jonas, I'm eating broccoli. Hey, JT, are you stupid? Are you like, Jonas is like, are you stupid? Like, really, are you just that stupid? And I went, you know what, Jonas, I guess in my mind, I've made up the itinerary of what I think I wanted to see versus what was actually written down in here that I needed to actually follow. So is it non-negotiable for you following instructions? For me, it was. Evidently, I had a hard time. And Jonas is like, are you just stupid? Stupid, you know, are you Forrest Gump right now? It's really interesting that we can't just follow a program. It's really interesting that we've got to make up our own vegetables, make up our own fruits. Well, I'm just not really down with the grapefruit. How about a nectarine? No. Hey, it says grapefruit. How about you follow the system? That was a non-negotiable for me. I had to go, okay, I'm going to follow the dadgum system. Because if I'm going to teach it, I've got to be willing to teach it and actually do that. Number two, if you're going to build this as a business, here's some non-negotiables. Don't do it your way. How about that? How about learn from people that have made tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars a year doing this and actually learn from the experts on how to build a business? Kevin and Becky are going to be training and teaching this in Austin, Texas. You can either plug in on a Zoom if you're not comfortable with traveling, or you could be in Austin, Texas, which, man, I can't wait to be there with you, Kevin, to actually hug your neck, give you a high five and talk about this. But if you're going to build a business, what's the business that you're trying to build? What's the non-negotiable? Is your bank account too low? So as you go through this, I think the biggest thing for the 180 for me wasn't just a 180 of eating. It was more of a 180 of everything I had to look at in my life. What were the things that I held on to? What are the things that controlled me that I didn't have control over? Evidently, I can go through a day and I can work enormously hard. Everybody that knows me knows that I can work really hard. Well, what is it about food that makes me not able to work hard at that? And so for me, a non-negotiable became, okay, you know what, if I am gonna eat bad for a day or two, well, I'm gonna be 5 or 6 days back on there when I'm in phase, when I'm out of phase 1, 2, and 3. If I do something, I'm going to go back. If I put on some weight, I grab an apple, I do a steak and apple day, follow the system. These guys are going to walk you through this. Why is it that you can't drink a gallon of water? But good Lord, you'll drink a gallon of coffee. And by the way, I can speak about that from a position of strength. I told Jonas, I said, I think I have a caffeine deficiency. And Jonas said, no, there's no caffeine deficiency, JT. It's drink water. So what is it about you drinking a gallon of water that's really difficult? So Kevin, for me, being on here with you guys, you guys do such an amazing job. For me, it's about why, and then you guys have the how figured out. You guys have the time frames figured out. You guys have everything figured out. It's almost John Taylor proof. Even I can't screw this up. So then I fall back into what is it that I'm going to grab a hold of, and what am I going to do this for? I'll end on this one last thing, and then I'll turn it back over to you guys. As I've been around people and I watch them, they don't have a long-term vision. And I tell you, Tom McCarthy nailed me with this when I was 30 years old. I lost a bunch of weight. I was probably about 230, and I lost down to about 196 pounds. And Tom McCarthy said, "What's your goal?" And I said, Tom, I really don't have a goal. And he goes, well, then you're going to go right back to the same weight and you're going to go even above. And I went, well, thanks, Tom. You got busting my bubble, you jackal. I was 30 years old thinking, wow, well, I feel really motivated. But he was 100% right. because I didn't have anything in my head that was actually triggering where I wanted to be. Like if my goal is 195 pounds, Paul Navidad, congrats. Paul Navidad, Jiminy Christmas. I mean, there is Barbara Long. Oh my gosh, look at you, Barb. I mean, like, what, Lauren? I mean, there are so many people on here. When I go through the Facebook group, I'm like, who are you people? Who are you sexy people out there right now? Because y'all went from here, and 5 months later, you're entirely different human beings. You're entirely different human beings. But Tom McCarthy said, JT, where do you want to be? You have to write it down and say, all right, here's where I want to be. This is where I'm going to go. And this is where I want to be. And the same thing as a business. If you don't put out there, I want to make $5 grand a month. And if you don't put out there where you want to go and you just arbitrarily go through life, you're never going to get there. The 180 system has said to me, the same thing I do in business is what I do in eating now. I have a plan. I start my plan when my day starts. I have a goal. These are the things I want to accomplish. I want to keep a chin line. I want to lose weight. I want to be able to get in my large shirts, not my XLs, not my 2XLs. Those are things that I want to do. So goal, you got to have a goal in mind. What is your target? Paul Navidad said, I'm going to be 150 pounds like I was when I was in college. That means he will have lost 127 pounds. And I can tell you this, based on Paul, I can tell you right now, Paul will hit that. I can tell you that he'll hit that and he'll crush it. So those are the things that go through my mind, guys, as I think about the 180 and how I've had to 180 my own brain, and I've had to get the stinking thinking out of there, as Zig Ziglar would say, and I'd have to put the garbage out, good in, and actually start thinking like that more and more. So back to you guys.
Okay, no, and JP, Paul and Laura last Thursday, they hosted this call. They hosted a call to talk to new people. I mean, and both of them with their music background, they crushed it. I mean, they're not afraid of the microphone. Actually, I think the microphone loves them, and they love the microphone likewise. I know we had a question. Yeah, we had a question here earlier that said, is there any hormones? No, there are 0 hormones. We're not allowed to sell hormones. You need a prescription for that. So no, there's no hormones on here. And then another, Pat asked if Calm and Core, how long do those last in the system? If we're looking at testing for cannabinoids, that's a different story. If we're looking at testing for THC, we do urine analysis tests in my medical clinic. If they're taking our products, we run everything through an analyzer and then a confirmation lab. So there's actually 2 labs that get run, because if it does pop positive for anything, it runs through a confirmation lab. We've never had anybody that's strictly on our products pop positive. Now, our get out of jail free card is, if you get drug tested, this is our map, don't use this. But if somebody's an anesthesia, I've had several medical doctors, several of y'all in here that work in hospitals as well. So I've never seen that really happen. Could it happen? Sure. I haven't seen it happen. We do all the testing in my office, so I don't know if they're getting tested for cannabinoids or for THC. I don't know why they wouldn't be allowed to have cannabinoids, because there's no psychoactive high. So just kind of wanted to answer those questions. I want to go back to what John Taylor said. I think this is really important. Jonas, I'm having green beans. Jonas, I'm having Brussels sprouts. I'm going, what are you seeing? So sometimes we can get upset with ourselves. Sometimes we can get upset with the people that we're coaching, but we have to understand that everybody sees something a little bit different. So I'm going to put a picture up here right now. I want y'all to tell me what you see. I want you to say, do you see an old lady or do you see a young girl? Can y'all hit us in the chat real quick? Do you see an old lady or do you see a young girl?
I saw the old lady first, and then I saw...
Which one did you see first is the question. Maybe I should say that.
Jonas, I saw the old lady first.
Okay, girl, old lady, young girl, young lady, young. Anybody else looking at
Brussels sprout?
Young lady, young. I saw cat. Of course you did, Jessica. Young, neither. Paul Navidad doesn't see anything. So, I mean, just so that way everybody, and make sure, does anybody not see the other? Do you see both young and old? Does anybody not see the other or either? You don't see the old lady, Michelle Holloway. So we're all looking at the same exact picture. We're all looking at the same exact 180 booklet. Maybe I see something that you didn't see. Maybe your people see something that you didn't see. So as we look at that, think of what all we're really looking. So just in case, the old lady's right here. She's got that long chin, her lips, her nose, her eyes. And so that's the old lady right here. And then the young lady, this is her chin line to her hair. So if you don't see those, I don't see a cat, but I would love to see what you see, Jessica, because that was pretty intense. That was pretty dang funny. But just because there was one picture that we all saw something different. So when we look at the book, don't be so upset if somebody sees something. That was the John Taylor. Jonas, I'm seeing green beans. He wanted to see green beans.
Jonas, by the way, I saw a skinny guy for 20 years and I was fat. So evidently I've got something wrong in my vision or body dysmorphia. Something's going on.
Shallow how called, okay?
Damn that Anthony Robbins. Damn him.
So this is what we're talking about. Everybody's going to see it a little bit differently. Everybody's going to feel week one a little bit differently. Don't try and judge people. And we've said this all along. Be happy for everybody. Whatever they see, that was meant for them. As they go back, we peel back the layers of the onion. As you go into week 2, week 3, week 4, into maintenance, go into round 2, go into round 3, right? Paul Navidad's about to hit round 3 here in a couple weeks. You know, it might be a little bit different. It might be easier. It might be more difficult. It might be the time of year. We just never know. So don't ever judge anybody. This is a judge-free zone. If you think you're perfect, that meeting happens never on this channel. So this is not for perfect people. What we want is perfect intentions. We want to do the right thing. And we want that constructive criticism. If I'm not doing something right, I want to do it right. So week 1 is hell week. We're all going to feel completely different. We go into week 2, that's where you really start to notice everything happening. That's where it becomes a little bit easier. Your schedule, your cooking. I know, Kevin, you always talk about, you know, how you plan out your day, how you plan out your meals. You cook everything, freeze it, or put it in the refrigerator, then leave it out, let it thaw. Figure out what works best for you. Some of y'all on here work in hospitals, right? 12-hour shifts. Some of you on here, car salesmen. You know, you have long days, and sometimes you don't get to govern when you eat. But if you have your food readily available, you'll be much more successful. I know if my food's right there and I might just have to heat it up, I'm good. I know if I don't have any food there, probably gonna make the wrong decision. So I love what JT said, Kevin. He goes, I plan my day out. How many of us plan our day out, but don't plan your food out before this protocol? Now we start to plan the food, and you'll hear me say it all the time, fail in planning, plan on failing. Succeed in planning, plan on succeeding in this protocol. What are you doing with your food? We're too busy. We're work, kids, family, extra events. Oh, you know, I forgot to eat. And then when you do eat, we overeat. Why do you, and it's just years and years and years of building up doing that. And we go, oh man, tens of thousands of fat cells. Jonas is right. You know, I got all these. So that week 2 makes it easy. Week 3, the hypothalamus. That's when your caffeine addiction, John Taylor, should be switched. And it's a caffeine addiction. It's not a caffeine deficiency. Let's be right on this. A stimulant is a stimulant. There's a little bit of it, but it builds up in the gut. You get a biotic buildup in the gut. So there is that little, I mean, it's a drug. Let's call it what it is. Caffeine is a drug. Sometimes you get that little addiction, John Taylor. It's okay. You're in a safe place.
It's funny because when I drink caffeine, now I get tired in the afternoon. When I don't drink caffeine at all, I motor through the entire day till about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So it's interesting that you change your brain, but then you go back and you watch it, you realize the things that it actually does. So it's just a constant reminder, or at least for me, it's a constant reminder that the habits are habits for a reason, and we're breaking those habits. So man, you just talking about caffeine, it's one of those things that I've had to work on, and I'm still in the process, man.
That's when week 3 comes out. Again, we're just talking to some of my business partners. They go, no, we used to drink coffee all the time. Now we can drink coffee whenever we want. And I'm not saying, oh, I have to have my coffee in the morning. I have to have my caffeine, enter your favorite caffeine drink. You know, let your adrenals calm down. Let the phytoadrenal that we just launched is phenomenal to feed the adrenals. The adrenals have a lot to do with our endocrine system. Let the endocrine system, your hormones, let those rebalance. And because if we're firing caffeine all day, every day, your endocrine system's never really in homeostasis or in balance. So week 3, Kevin, we changed the hypothalamus. That's when your body should start to feel the difference between eating like this and eating like you used to. Then we go into week 4, shrink wrap week. And Kevin, take us into maintenance. What's so important about maintenance? I know you had a question some earlier about maintenance, and let's move into A and B maintenance.
We'll go into question, and then, and guys, when you come on this call, if you're not asking questions about the program, we're going to start going into using this program to build your business. This call is about both. And if there's no technical questions about the program, we're going to talk about how to build a business Prime My Body. So you guys understand that concept where we're going with this. So, and Sherry, you've been posting over here. Props to you. Had a customer, had a cheat day, called crying, and you calmed them down, told them they're human, they're okay, hug themselves, go back to work, they're going to have great results. And that is exactly how you coach people. Always, always stress the positive. Okay, sure, they had a cheat day. Yeah, there's going to be consequences. Things are going to slow down, but that's not what you're focused on. You're focused on you're going to have a great results, better than you've ever had in 30 days of not doing 180, even if you cheat, even if you struggle. So in maintenance, this kind of finishes this up, Jonas. Whether you've struggled a little bit through the program, had a perfect program, you hit maintenance, you guys are going to set this in plus or minus 2 pounds. You're going to do that for 6 weeks total. The first 3 weeks, we're going to add the sugar, or excuse me, almost made a mistake there. My favorite thing in life, right, that I break the habit from is sugar. We're going to have the oils, the fats, and the dairies. Now, if you're not going to eat any of those the rest of your life, don't have to have them. But if you're going to actually have those anytime between now and the day you die, you need to get your body acclimated to those things, okay? So again, we're not telling you what is the optimal way to eat. We're telling you what you have to do to get your body used to handling those things so it doesn't gain weight in the future when you do eat them. The second 3 weeks, everything in life is on your menu. Again, you can make a lot of bad choices. There's a lot of things I could tell you I would recommend you never eat or consume ever again. But if the reality is you're going to, have that be on your menu during the second 3 weeks. Get your body used to it. You're going to do 2 steak and apple days, generally the first 3 weeks to the second 3 weeks. If you're not having to do at least one, you want to really look at, are you eating enough calories? Are you actually feeding your body the way you should be feeding your body? And then the question that was asked there before, Jonas, is somebody had gained 4 pounds. What do I do to take it off? Well, guys, this is the beauty of doing maintenance right. If you're on day 110, you're past maintenance. All you do is go back and eat normal. If you eat normal for 2 or 3 days and that 4 pounds is staying there, that's telling me that your body's really under duress. And what I recommend at that point is go back to the program, the foods that are on the program, not eating the reduced calories that we eat on the program, but only eat from the allowed menu of the restricted or the reduced calorie phase 2 section. Eat all the calories you need for the day. You're not on a reduced calorie. You're not on a reduced eating. You're going to eat 3 meals. You can have salad. You can mix your vegetables. You can have the same protein twice in a row. You're not on the same restrictive eating habits as you are in phase 2, but you're just going to eat those really lean foods for a day or two. That weight will come right back off, and you go right back to normal eating. You don't have to do a diet again. You don't have to go through a system for just a little hiccup like that. But what you do want to do is go, what did I just do to my body? What was I doing the last couple of weeks before this 4 pounds set in there and wasn't leaving? And it will give you an indicator of what your body can and can't handle going forward long term. And so the scale, you should be jumping on a scale about once a week after maintenance is over. If you're up 4 pounds, jump on it the next day. If it's still 4 pounds, jump on it the next day. If you have 3 days being up 4 pounds, go back and eat the foods on the menu, let the weight drop right back off. You're fine. It's a great way to do it. It's a great way to kind of remind yourself of the foods that are important and not let yourself gravitate back to the bad foods and those types of things. So that's what you do. As we go forward and wrap this up, and I'll throw it back over to you, Jonas. There was one question, the Q&A. I'll let you handle. If you might have already typed it in there. Guys, as we do this call next Monday, we're going to start talking, in addition to training about the program, we're going to talk about building a business with 180. Because again, if you help somebody with 180 and that's it, that's fine. But if you help somebody with 180 and you help turn that person into a long-term customer, they're going to eventually send you a bunch more 180 people, which means we're changing a bunch more lives. If you take people who are financially struggling and you show them the business opportunity and they start to earn extra income, they're bringing even more people to Prime My Body, more 180 people, more lives changing. And that's what this is about. It's about building a business, helping our finances, and changing people's lives. All three things work in harmony and synopsis together. Ironically, the mantra that Becky and I had with 180 was go find 4 people. What's Prime My Bodies? Go find 4 people. So when I get a new customer, I say, you know what? Doing this program as a team is so much better, easier, and productive if you do it with friends. So go find 4. And we're going to be rolling stuff out in the coming months that will incentivize these customers, that will give them a benefit. If I had somebody come to me and said, I can't afford the 180 system, it's cheap, guys. 180 is so dirt cheap. If you look at a similar program to lose this kind of weight, you're talking about $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month, and they want a 3-month commitment, and you're still not going to lose the weight you're losing with Prime My Body, because they're not designed to get you to lose weight. They're designed to keep you on a $2,000 a month maintenance is what they're really trying to do. I know this because I was in this industry for a decade. So this is really inexpensive. If somebody said, I can't afford this, that's where the Go Find 4 is perfect. They go find 4 people. They just got their program for free. And they started a business opportunity they desperately need. And so that's how I work with this. So I know we're doing coaching and training, but I've been chomping at the bit to start talking about how this 180 transitions into building a business, products, and helping people stay healthy. All the comments on the right, I saw people talking about how their health is better, how they don't want to gain their low energy back, how they don't want to not have enough energy to get off the couch with the kids. All these things posted on the right when John Taylor was talking earlier. That's the reason why we build a business with Prime My Body and 180. It's to change the world. And I'll talk more next week about some of those stories. Jonas, I know we're out of time, so I'll throw it back to you. But Jonas, if we can, I'm going to invite a couple special guests for next Monday. Mm-hmm. And these are going to be leaders in Prime My Body that we're going to talk about these concepts. JT, are you still on the call? If you are, you can just pop your camera back on and give me a head shake. If you're not, I'll call you separate. But JT, you're one of the guys I want to have on next Monday. If you're good to go, give us a thumbs up or hit us in the chat. Jonas, back to you. We'll finish up. And guys, thank you for all your comments in the chat windows and the questions. It is awesome to see your participation, and my heartfelt gratitude for everybody who is sharing this and sharing their stories and changing people's lives. That's where the passion of 180 is.
Thank you for that, Kevin. And here's what I'd like everybody to do right now. I think this would be really good. Real quick, before we hop off. If everybody on here right now can go hit the Facebook 180 group and just put one nugget of what you learned here tonight. Just go type it in the 180 group. One nugget that you learned tonight, whether it might be the price, whether it might be what you're looking at, what happens to week 1, the mindset. What nugget did you take away from this phone call? Because hit everybody in the 180 group. This is something where people, they want to know, and sometimes they just can't make it to these calls. I want to finish on this. Brooke Schwartz asked, what can make her successful? Just make sure you have a good balanced diet going in. Because if you're already not eating enough, that doesn't work. Make sure that you're eating a little bit of everything. So that way when we cut out the simple carbs, when we cut out the fats, when we cut out the sugars, then your body goes, okay, now I can really get this thing working. If we don't use it, if we don't eat those, the body's going, well, there's not really much of a difference right now. Just make sure you have a good balanced diet. And that's why we go into phase, A and phase B of maintenance. Paul Navidad, this happens to a lot of women on here. I need help. My cycle came early, stopped, resumed vibe. 8 days later, it came back. Can I continue? Yes, as we are rebalancing the body, bringing the body back into a state of homeostasis, that can happen, ladies. That is more than normal. Sometimes you get started, the cycle comes. Maybe the cycle, doesn't last as long. Maybe it takes another week. Your body's just kind of rebalancing out. Here's what I'm going to tell you. A clean body, because I had another lady who goes, Jonas, I might be pregnant. And I said, when you clean your body, miraculous things can happen. They might have been having, intercourse with her and her husband for several years and nothing happened. Now that she's losing the weight, something may have happened. So understand that. And they go, well, John, you need to put that really big in the book. And I go, I don't know, maybe we do. That a clean body can do some miraculous things. I don't know what that miraculous is for you, but I believe procreating is an extremely miraculous event that takes place in our lives. And so once your body is clean, we see this happen time and time and time again. Kevin, I know you have stories of people going, we're never going to get pregnant. We've been to reproductive medicine doctors and they're saying we're never going to get pregnant. They do this protocol, they get pregnant. If the body is healthy, if the body is balanced, the body can do some miraculous things. So just be careful. Make sure that we're doing everything right here. So y'all hit us up in the 180 group. Kevin, we'll see y'all Thursday again. We're going to run through the breakdown. Kevin, do you have any co-hosts that we're going to do for Thursday? Do we want some co-hosts?
Well, on Thursday, what I want to do, Jonas, if we can, because I will actually be on the call, but I'm going to be in the mountains up north.
Okay.
I don't think I'll be able to run the PowerPoint from where I'm at. I'll be able to be on the call. So can you do the PowerPoint for us on Thursday?
Absolutely.
And then next Thursday, we're going to shoot to have a couple of Prime My Body leaders come on and run through the PowerPoint. And we'll keep hitting up people on these calls that are here to do this and whatnot. So if you can do that next Thursday, that would be great. Again, I'll be on the call, but if I can't get my video to work, I may just be on the audio side of it.
Gotcha.
But I know I'll have Signal at least do that.
All good. So yeah, Kevin Putnam, I hope you don't become pregnant. So for everybody on here, we will talk about money. Money is very important because as you start doing this, people are going to come in. You know, if you just sign up an affiliate, you get about $85 per kit that you sell, per 180 kit. If they come in as a customer, their first time customer, you get about $125 per kit that goes out. There is a lot of money here. Those before and afters yield on average about one per person. You get about 6 people coming on because of one person's before and afters and one person's success story. So make sure that everybody is a success. Set them up for success. What are they eating? When is their cycle? Are they ready to do this? A scale of 1 to 10. Are you a 10? I want you to succeed because so many people go through life and they give it 1 week. They give it 2 weeks. I mean, Kevin, I've had people do this for 2 weeks and they lose 25 pounds and they go, okay, I'm done. I thought I could do it. And I'm going, oh no. And they've come to me with medical issues. They've come to me scared from the hospital saying, you know what? Let's fix it right now. 20 plus pounds in 2 weeks. They quit. Everybody's going to run their own race. You know, we can't judge them for what they do. We want them to succeed. And, you know, it's our heart, but we cannot want weight loss for somebody. We have to interview them. Are they ready for weight loss? Because I don't want them to make me look bad, to make my product look bad. I want them to make all of us look good. This is a team game. This is a team effort. I come from football. I come from team sport. We all go out and we either win together or we lose together. So let's set everybody up to win. Thank y'all for winning this Monday night. We'll see y'all here in 20 minutes for our leadership talk. We'll maybe talk a little bit more money. We're going to talk about the Rise event. We're going to talk about some of the things that are coming up in the next 2-3 weeks. So hurry up. Let's do this. I'll see y'all in 20 minutes. Kevin, thank you so much. I may or may not see you Thursday. I might hear you, but we'll see everybody here Thursday evening. All right. Y'all have a great evening. Bye-bye.